Round 1.
Okay. This is my Cobra Kai Season 4 review. Kind of got the inspiration to do this from my man Shady Jay over at the Game Chaser, so I'm hoping he checks this out when I'm getting finished. But I'm just pretty much going to go over some of the things I like, dislike, maybe what I would have changed, added. I got to see your review, Shady J. There was a lot of things I agreed with you guys, you know. Things with Tim said about silver, all that shit, I definitely agreed. But start off, this shit's in no order, so it's in no order. But some of the things I did not like and liked about Cobra Kai Season 4, obviously one of the obvious things was the whole Kenny thing. Now, I hate how they wasted nostalgia parts with Kenny, like him jumping over the fence. That's like reminiscent from the Miyagi part where, Daniel's jumping over the fence. And, he goes into Cobra Kai. Difference is Daniel gets kicked out and doesn't get to go back when Robbie, mentors him. I just think if you're the whole Daniel LaRusso's kid, I just felt a lot of the scenes they used for him were misplaced when they could have just did more with the characters they already had. I was like, why do they got? I knew what they were doing. I understand you're trying to build for another season. It was almost like they sacrificed some short shit for the long game, like Kenny's training. Here's this guy scared of his shadow, dressing up like squirrels and shit. And then all of a sudden, it's like any kid that joins Cobra Kai 3 days later, or even maybe fucking that night, they're at least more of a badass than someone that's not already in Cobra Kai. Like Kenny's having that brother in the DH, because it's juvie, and we'll get into the Robbie thing in a minute. I probably would have did something with him, have him get out quick, maybe have that be the guy Robbie trains, and then has these flashbacks. Like, one of the main things I hated with this season was the predictable moments. And what I mean by predictable moments, like, I understand it to do foreshadowing. Hint this or do that. But sometimes they overdid it. Where it's like, man, it was just like with John Kreese when he was going to turn on Silver, or he didn't like what Silver was thinking, or you know what I mean. I was like, damn, John, that was quick. They just quickly went in. They're already butting heads. I think you could have let their relationship at least build a little bit. They're both bad guys. You know what I mean? I think it was a little too early to have Kreese and them bumping heads. But we'll get into that. But back onto the predictable moments. It was like they would show you something, and you're like, oh, okay, for instance, tournament. You knew Robbie was going to lose. As soon as they showed that quick flash of Kenny was like going, yeah, just like, really like inhuman, like, chanting for him or whatever. And I think this is even before the scene in the locker room. But as soon as I saw Robbie see that little flashback, well, you knew he was going to lose. You knew something was going to happen. He was going to lose that tournament because he's starting to turn good. And we'll talk about that, where he's like already starting to turn. I just think if you were going to turn Robbie back, could have been more of an action-packed moment to do that. I don't think he had to do that crying shit at the end, or when he was crying with his dad at the end. I think he could have did something else. You know what I mean? Someone help. Something's happening with Cobra Kai. Whether it's someone doing something to Miyagi or doing something to Johnny or whoever, and he sees this happening, and it's one of those situations where he's supposed to step up and do something, and instead of doing that, he turns on Cobra Kai. Maybe that still happens, but when Robbie just starts crying at the end, it was just like, Jesus. And then, like, for instance, you have Hulk, okay? who's this badass, Cobra Kai badass, sticking to the program, upset about what happened to Miguel. And then Miguel, goes over there or whatever. What I wouldn't have did with Hawk, I wouldn't have had the Binary Brothers. I don't have no problem with you doing that eventually, having him have a change of heart. But I felt when you turned Hawk and had him go with Miyagi and whatever he had to train with them, or, for whatever reason, I thought that was a little early. I think if I was writing it, I would have turned Hawk in the tournament. Because think about it. He never got to go against his Binary brother in a tournament. And I think after he broke his arm and their connection or whatever, I understand that song they played at the end. You could do all that still. But I think the season should have been about you're seeing the turn of Hawk maybe regretting some of the Cobra Kai things. But still, he's with Cobra Kai up to that tournament. You know how they made him lose the Mohawk? And like I said, trying to I don't know if that's the writers. Well, we got to teach like a kid. Let's teach kids that it's not the Mohawk that made him cool. It was what's here, not up there. We didn't love that, but you're killing the guy's character. You know what I mean? The fact that he beat Robbie, and that another thing they did wrong. I know John Kreese, they were trying to show he was having this turn of heart, which I disagreed with. I don't think it was time to make him good guy. You know what I mean? We never seen him pay for the bad guy shit yet. But John Kreese having that change of heart where he's like, you do what you want. I didn't like that. I was waiting for the sweep the leg moment. And I think if you were going to do it in that tournament, I would have had it done in the Hawk moment. For instance, I would have had Hawk still as Cobra Kai. He's told to do something. He's going against a Lurpy kid for some reason. His friend. Sorry, I don't know names. I'm not perfect. You have him go against the Lurpy kid, and they're like, yo, sweep the leg. He's already hurt, blah, blah, blah. And if something happens, like whether it's in their match or whatever, or he loses, or Hawk wins, or something happens to where he doesn't do what the whatchamacallit say, and he kind of get, the senseis, and he's starting to get paid for it, and you have the nerdy kid help him out to where he's getting beat up or something, and then that's when I think you have Hawk kind of turn who he was. I thought the Hawk progression character was done poorly. I would have never made him a good guy. And why did he have to go to Miyagi, though? You know what I mean? That was quick. Damn. Johnny convinced him to go. He goes, I just want to go to Miyagi. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Daniel taught him anything. Daniel didn't even believe in him. You know what I mean? The whole time Daniel was staring at fucking Robbie the whole time. So when it comes to Kenny, I would have never did it like that. Why at the end, Robbie's going against Kenny in a tournament. They're both Cobra Kai in a point tournament. How did they do the points there? In my spoilers, in my 15 things you missed, in my second part, you will watch it after this one. You'll see some of the things where I think what's interesting about the tournament and kind of some reasons why I think Miguel left. But definitely Silver. If you guys don't know who John Silver was from part 3, what's interesting is about Karate Kid Part 3. Not the greatest movie, but it had some of my favorite scenes of all time. Like, for instance, what is the one thing Daniel LaRusso and his kids always looks that Miyagi never looked while doing karate or fighting people? And that word is awkward. Miyagi never looked awkward. And this is the guy from Happy Days. When he was beating all those dudes, best scene ever, Karate Kid 3. They're beating up Daniel. It was when, John Silver had the greatest lines that you could have in that film. Every time he almost spoke, Quicksilver, man can't see, man can't stand. There's a part where he goes to Danny, he goes, with that crane crap? Where he's training him. When Silver's training Daniel, when Miyagi said he wasn't going to, for whatever reason, Miyagi decided he wasn't going to train Daniel new kata. I didn't understand. I never understood that. But made for whatever the movie. So Silver's training, teaching him Quicksilver, obviously was to get in his head. I mean, it made Daniel more of a badass in some ways. But John Silver had the best lines. There's a part where Barnes is beating him up, and you just hear Silver in the background go, "Use the crane, Danny boy." But the best, and that's the scene where he goes, "Go get him." And Barnes runs outside. Miyagi throws him back in, my favorite part. And then Kreese and Silver are fighting Miyagi at the same time. And Miyagi beats them both. I always said, Karate Kid might as well have been called Miyagi. Part 1, The Karate Kid. Because Miyagi was that guy. We all know that. You know what I mean? You know, when Daniel beat Barnes, Barnes was beating the fuck out of him. That whole fucking match. Well, let me not get too sidetracked right there. And so I didn't like Hawk going to Miyagi, though. I would have did that way different. I would have turned him at the end. And Robbie turning on... You know what's funny about Robbie? So Robbie's mad at Daniel. I get it. He turned me in. You know what was crazy? And I didn't even think about this until the end. And because I remember I heard Robbie say to him, fuck himself. He goes, that's the guy I knew in juvie. And then it sank in my head. I go, whoa. Robbie, you were motherfucking mad at Daniel? A guy that would have definitely put money on your books. So when I say money on your books, gave you money when you're at this. For starters, you're at juvie. Juvie's not jail. Even the top juvie is not like jail. You're going to be doing recreational activities for the most part. Yeah, you said you were fighting that dude. Even if you weren't a rat, they would have eventually separated you motherfuckers. So you fighting them on a daily would have never happened. Never happened. Okay? You can't hide fight. Unless you guys aren't fucking making no marks. But anyway, fighting them every day. Now, Kenny would, so you have, and this is what I call lazy writing. So you have Robbie go against Kenny. Whatever reason they explained for that, it was, I don't care, stupid. But remember when Robbie all of a sudden goes, you win, blah, blah, blah. And he just starts beating Kenny. But you could tell he's really fucking hitting him. Where he's like, damn, why is he, you know what I mean? Kind of funny that Robbie's losing his mind and then he loses his mind the other way. It's like, God damn, let him be evil for a little bit. Jesus Christ. You know what I mean? Don't turn him on just some weird ass tears where he's just like, oh God, I trained this mother. You don't even know what Kenny's going to do yet. Like you said, he was getting his ass beat. You're the one that threatened the people that were fucking him up. Hawk and shit. Somehow Hawk ended up around him and he wasn't even the one beating him up. But every other time it was, and what's with the kids at this school? It's always like, when they're having those, when they grab Kenny and they're having Daniel LaRusso's kid, hey, come on, LaRusso, show us the moves you got. What kind of kids do shit like this? It's always 4 dudes grabbing them. 4 goons. It's like, Jesus, how did he get these friends? And they got these in every grade level where it's, grab them. 4 dudes grabbing a dude and the other dude. That's just like, it's like, no, you have to. Meanwhile, the biggest dude is telling LaRusso he wants to see his move. That goon kid's holding Kenny. Well, I want to see the big dude. Why do I got to see the LaRusso kid fight? That kid can't fight. You can't tell that? What the fuck? You know what I mean? And I just thought all his placing was out of place. And you'll be like, oh, well, Pesci, next season it's going to be a big thing. Well, there would have been other ways you could have wrote in Daniel's bullying. You didn't need to have to, show the girl. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we're hinting that there's a little love relationship. Yeah, that was clever what Kenny did to them at the end, getting them in trouble. I like that. That was Cobra Kai-ish. You know what I mean? I have no problem with Robbie teaching him, but maybe show his growth. If this is going to be a guy, let's show his growth a little bit more. Let's not all of a sudden he's just going to be Daniel's bully next year. You obviously can tell he's probably going to take the goons Daniel Russo's kid had will be his goons next year, or he'll make them Cobra Kai or whoop their ass. So I didn't like that. I didn't like the weapons thing because you had guys in there that didn't look like they were like new. They were like actors you didn't even focus on, a few of them. And it's like, you did that board breaking. Why board breaking? Why not? Let's go bring that fucking shit out from part 2 to water. Or let's do like they did in Sidekicks. Remember in Sidekicks where he's like, no, you gotta light it. And dude lit it on fire. Was that Sidekicks? But anyway, yeah, that's what I said. At that part, that was just weak. Weak. And when it came to the intergender thing, oh, it's like the women's league. That kind of fucked the tournament up. Not because, oh, Pesci, you're sexist. You can't watch. No, I would have did it more like, look, Daniel's daughter and the other girl who was fighting guys pretty much when she wasn't fighting Daniel's fucking daughter, she's fighting dudes and shit. Okay? So you have them, and that was the thing what I meant by predictable moments. The mother, you saw that she didn't like when she got her in trouble. You knew the mother was going to try to do like a favor for her. Originally, looked like she brought her a bag of apples. Remember when fucking whatever that girl's name was, the fucking badass Cobra Kai girl? You're like, oh, Pesci, you're doing a review, I don't even know the names? Yeah, I'm doing a review, I don't even know the names because I'm not no professional. I'm the 5-time. This ain't the fucking Angry Joe show. And so, remember, she threw the fucking apples on the fucking. At first, I thought she was gonna get a fucking job working at the car dealership, and then that was how what's her name was gonna get mad. But I like how the first scene when she was at the LaRusso table, it's like you knew Daniel or the daughter, it was both, were gonna walk in and see her at the table. That's not me predictable. It's like, okay, Mrs. LaRusso, you're not going to have that original meeting, maybe off to the cut, maybe at a Domino's or something, or at the car lot, right in the house where your daughter, who was fucking mentally scarred by this girl's weapons and shit she attacked her with when they almost tried to kill her at school. That's why I thought when they made her kind of watering her down, once you knew the LaRusso's mom was going to be friends with the person that attacked her daughter, once you knew there was going to be a relationship there, well, you knew that the LaRusso and her relationship, yeah, there's going to be a fight between the two, but you knew eventually it wasn't going to go overboard if the mother is helping that girl that attacked her daughter, whatever. What's that fucking girl's name? Why can't I think of her name? The Cobra Kai girl that obviously wins in the end, figures out she's cheating. Her and LaRusso, you obviously know they're going to be friends. This is what I mean by predictable. Remember when fucking LaRusso's daughter went and visited her old friend, the Cobra Kai chick from season 1? I was like, damn, where did she go? Oh, my mom and dad didn't want me fucking doing karate. Well, no shit. Did you see that one little blonde kid that they fucking lured out with a cat? Oh, a cat. I'm like, cat. All right, kid. Even if you did like kitties, why would them making kitty, Cobra Kai was making kitty noise, or they brought a fake cat or something. The kid goes out there and remember Miguel's like, they don't have a cat. I don't know if that was at the end of the last season or beginning of this one, but that was when Hawk had the turn of thought. I thought you could have hinted it there, but you didn't have to turn him there. The fight that what's his name didn't go to in the LaRusso house, which I'm glad, because it's like, back on Robbie real quick. Robbie, you were in juvie for paralyzing a kid. You were mad at Daniel for getting you turned in? Bro, You know you can't live on the run. Hey, I got 5 felonies. I know about prison, bro. Been to prison twice, okay? Had a warrant before. You can't live a normal life on warrant, and you are set up to go to fucking juvie and get out and be just fine. You think Mr. LaRusso wasn't going to sit? Robbie's so stupid. All Robbie would do is, all right, Mr. Russo, I'm going to go in here. I want money on my books, and please help me get a job when I get out of here. Instead, he held it personal that LaRusso got him fucking locked up. Meanwhile, LaRusso would have bought him a lawyer that could have probably got the time, whatever, but Robbie, you paralyzed the kid. You were sentenced when he was paralyzed, okay? We didn't know he was going to make the goddamn recovery. That doesn't make paralyzation any better or any more condemned. Oh, well, they survived it. No, you fucking almost killed Miguel. I never agreed with that anyway. It should have never been paralyzed. It should have been like serious injury, but Jesus Christ. I mean, how could Miguel, I mean, even though he's a great kid, how could you ever be in the god same room as Robbie Keane? Is that what his name was? Robbie Keane or whatever? I don't even know. But if that was his fucking name. But as I said, damn, think about that. What he had to go through. Yeah, they made it quick. The recovery, I think that was a little too, shit, if you're going to paralyze the kid, let's make the recovery and the comeback a little bit more heartfelt. It's kind of like, oh, I'm at the concert, my foot's moving, I'm healed. Let's talk about Daniel went against Johnny in the middle of the season for rights to teach. This one's going to teach the kid. I hate it when Daniel's like, I got to do it. It's got to be done. They got to learn this. My. What the fuck? They're throwing kids through windows, Daniel. They threw that blonde kid through a window. Okay, we're going to need some backup. Get over the Lawrence thing. What the fuck you worried about? The scene when Lawrence was teaching the kids and he's brought the daughter to the roof. That was dumb. It was boring. What the fuck? At first, they really did look. How the fuck did you make it over that roof? She made that jump. I'm like, damn, what are they turning these kids into superheroes now? How did she make that? Why did they fucking drag that dumbass scene out? Why was that dragged out? I don't have no problem with her fucking joining allegiance with Lawrence, but let's not drag that out like that. You know what I mean? It was like when Silver said everybody's got a weakness. And you knew that Kreese didn't like that when Silver said everyone's got a weakness. You knew it was going to be Johnny I thought it was going to be Johnny or Silver. But what's really weird is, Kreese, if you like Johnny like you didn't you boot him out of that building? I wouldn't let your kid go, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he's about to teach your kid Miyagi-Do, which shouldn't have been done. You could have what's-his-name join Miyagi. It should have been more about Silver bringing in a style that Kreese wanted him to teach that he hasn't taught in a long time. Silver kicked ass. At first, I was like, damn, that didn't look like John Silver to me. I remember with John Silver looked like the goddamn man. Driving around nice cars, doing this, had all the best one-liners. Use the crane, Danny boy. You know what I mean? What's better than that? Use the crane, Danny boy. Or when he goes, with that crane crap? That was great. And the Quicksilver man can't stand. You know what I mean? And, but anyway, Silver, at first I was worried about. But when they tied the ponytail behind his head, I'll tell you something interesting about the music in the next segment. Tied the ponytail back in his head. He came into that scene where he, did the Easter egg from the movie where he walked in with Robbie's training with the girl and I believe he said, man can't stand. But he said the man can't see or one of those. And I think this shouldn't have been more about Robbie teaching them Miyagi-Do. Like when they're like, They know all my moves. Who gives a shit if they know all? What do you mean they know all your moves? What the fuck is this shit? They know all my moves. Is they no robot? If they know all your moves, then you know all their moves, I thought. Eagle Fang? What the finger? You know what I mean? And that Carrie Underwood shit, that shit was a joke. I need to go into that. I remember I saw that, I was like, Jesus. I didn't understand. I think on Netflix does these big name bullshit. Yeah, Cobra Kai will give you Underwood. Why wasn't she singing the You're the Best song? She was singing some off the map fucking song. Reminded me of some Ernest the Camp bullshit. Why the fuck wasn't she singing You're the Best? Never gonna be the when Daniel and fucking what's his name fought? This is how I would have did that shit. I wouldn't have did that double knockout shit. You just had Daniel teach Johnny his karate. You showed him at times using it. Do something interesting where Johnny beats Daniel in that fucking, in his backyard on that mat. When that fucking shit went viral or whatever. Have him beat him with the crane or some move he taught. And when he beats Daniel, instead of saying, Daniel, fuck off, kids, come with me, he fucking puts his hand out to be shook. And he shakes his hand and says, Daniel, you know what? We got to do this together. Blah, blah, blah. And the writers write some bullshit there. Okay? Don't be afraid to have Johnny win there and win with the crane. I got some shit. Nobody did the crane at all. The fact that they didn't do the crane, I don't know why they're, oh, it's too cheesy. Too cheesy, you're throwing kids through windows and shit, and you lured out by a cat noise. Oh, a cat. Like you would do that at somebody's rich ass house. You know what I mean? And LaRusso's, wait a minute. How the fuck did they even get to the pantry? You're going to tell me your dad, after all the shit that's happened at that crib, we don't got a mother, you know what I mean? We don't got a motherfucking security system that when five of them, no alarm, no bing, no nothing, no light, no with a kitty that wasn't even theirs. You know what I mean? Robbie at the end going against that kid, that made no sense. What would you do? I would have had him get beat by a hawk there, and if you did, have Kreese and them mad at him at the end. Like, you piece of shit, get out of here, go with them. And have them get rid of him or fuck him up or try to, people get mad at him for losing. No one was mad, like, not even so. Show a little anger there. I know it's like, well, how do you get mad? We kind of won the end. It shouldn't have been intergender. At that point, I knew when they had to watch, it was just like, not like I meant by predictable. You saw what's her name, saw that Kreese was paying them. Even though I didn't see the hit that had her loss, it's like you really had to go their route. So now she's going to do this, I didn't win it fair, LaRusso, or some bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, man, you could have did a little bit more with her. I think we could have went more villain with the girl. You know what I mean? So I didn't like that. Like I said, the Underwood, I would have had them sing that. Stingray was another predictable part. You knew he was going to hit the neighbor eventually. The Kreese. Oh, it was John Kreese. No. Don't. Who? If Kreese is going to get so, what are you going to do with that? So what? We're gonna have like Daniel's son and them have like a change of heart for a Kreese, and he's just gonna be a part of the. You know what I mean? What do you do? Oh, you're gonna start having him teach again or some shit. You know what I mean? Or no, Pesci, this season's gonna be about Kreese is gonna want silver. Fuck. They shouldn't have did that. This should have been about the rise of Silver and Kreese. You know what I mean? Because now we're not going to get to see some battles we want to see. Hawk, I would have did different. I would have had him at a change of heart. Robbie, same thing. Him crying at the end. Obviously, is either he's full. Obviously, him and Kenny are going to meet again, or he's going to meet Kenny's brother or something. Because I call poor writing. You have Kenny get his ass beat by Robbie, and Kenny will use those as those flashbacks. He'll just flash back to when what's his name hit him, and there's those times in the dojo. And what's his name's already starting to go cuckoo, so he's just gonna be like, oh, fuck you, Robbie. You know what I mean? I just would have did it a little different. Oh yeah, the dance, thought that was poor. Let's keep the theme of karate going and not copy off dancing movies and the way Miguel, what's his name, staring at them like, hey, you guys motherfuckers remember this? You guys did like the swap. Okay? And Robbie getting so mad at Miguel in the beginning of the season, getting mad at her. First of all, Robbie, pimp juice, I'm pretty sure, dude, Mr. Thinker, you were smart enough to know that LaRusso's daughter was never a slut. So I'm pretty sure Miguel and them weren't fucking. And if there is, I'm pretty sure she plays a virgin in the show, Robbie. Unless I forgot the time you banged her. But getting Rob mad at Miguel like that, yeah, you just got out. But bro, why don't you hear the reason why? Blah, blah, blah. Also, let's not trip out on Miguel. It was his chick first, and you paralyzed him. Robbie, relax. You paralyzed the kid. You think the kid just started walking again. You think he's like, first things first, I'm fucking the LaRusso girl. Getting back, that was his girl. I would have been like, damn, huh? Yeah. You know what I mean? I'd have been asking Daniel for 10 grand before I would have been telling him to fuck off, Robbie. All you did was go to juvie. They were still in school when you got out. I went to fucking jail for a year for half pound of weed. You fucking threw a goddamn kid, almost killed him. Paralyzation. You know what I mean? That ain't no low thing. We're lucky what's his name walked again. I wanted them to do that anyway. I wanted them to, but Jesus, the LaRusso kid was boring. They did a lot of lazy shit. Trying to teach a life lesson with Hawk. It's not the Mohawk. No, but what would Vader be without James Earl Jones's voice? It's not the fault, you know what I mean? It's like, what? Let's keep everyone cool. You know what I mean? You don't have to do Hawk like that. Have him have the moment of truth in the tournament where he's looking at his dude, his Bayerny brother, and that's when they have that moment. You're going to have him beat Robbie because Robbie had a flashback of him training? Robbie, I don't understand your mood swings. You just beat the shit out of Kenny. For as much as you could in a tournament, you didn't Mike Barnes it because you didn't get points deducted. You know what I mean? And that was another thing with Silver and Kreese. There wasn't no sweep the leg moments. And there should have been. There was Kreese going, do whatever you want to the girl that I can't remember her name, whatever. You know what I mean? But that dance was awful. Hawk going to Miyagi was awful. The way Robbie turning good, bad, done awful. You could have did it in a more of a scene, some kind of scene, maybe where he's, no, don't do that. And you see him turn on Cobra Kai, and he has to fight them motherfuckers. Oh, you're gonna turn on us again, Robbie? You know, something like that, or Silver's there, or one of those moments where he loses to Hawk, and they took it a little more personal. than they did. Said I would have did something with Kenny's brother earlier. More shit at the tournament. That's when I would have had people have their moments of turning. More villain moments. Fuck Carrie Underwood. And I'm pretty sure that's it. But overall, what Cobra Kai did was what it was supposed to do. Because you do want to see next year. You might be a little upset with what they got, how they took us there. Stay tuned for the things you missed part. And shout out to Shady Jay. Give this a watch if you can. It's a little long, but maybe watch it in parts if you can. And but like I said, Cobra Kai, we're gonna be watching next year. The cheating at the end, wasn't a fan of that. You know, you knew she was gonna get good. They hinted that when she met the curly-haired girl, and she said, "I met a bully, and we became best friends." I just told you that eventually they're gonna be best friends. Jesus Christ. Already? You know what I mean? It was like Robbie. It was like, Jesus, dude, you paralyzed. What's his name? You went to juvie. Short timer, juvie. And you're mad at him for getting back with his original girl? Who's not even banging him yet? We'll see you next season. You did that.